Hi, welcome back to Murf Unfiltered. I'm Kathleen Murphy, your host, and I'm here today with my co-host guest, Dave Kinnoin from the University of Northern Colorado. Dave is the Director of Player Development there, and we have a wonderful professional past where we've worked together before. So we're going to pick back up on the topic, which I'll reshare with you today, which is accountability, the foundation of championship mindsets, which we're both very familiar with, having worked with incredible people that have allowed us to experience what it's like to be associated with championship teams. So welcome back, Dave.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Thank you for having me again, Kathy.
You're very welcome. So we're gonna launch into talking about practical takeaways as it relates to this topic. And for the coaches and athletes and parents listening, I was wondering, what's one strategy that you found to be most effective in terms of strengthening accountability on a team? You talked about some wonderful things that you're doing with your current team. Are there any other sort of ideas or suggestions that you might have for others if they're not going to be potentially picking up on your playbook in terms of what your team is doing for accountability that maybe others could consider, that maybe you've used in the past that you thought worked really nicely before, just given different circumstances?
Sure. Well, I can for our group that we have right now, we do we do leadership groups throughout
Yes.
the fall.
Mm-hmm.
We meet for an hour a week, and we split them into different grade levels. So it's freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, and then seniors and fifth years.
Okay.
And there's different topics for each group to talk about how to build into a leadership, right? So the freshmen and sophomores we talk about accountability a lot.
Okay.
And then the juniors and seniors kind of go off of that, and they talk about commitment and how to be that leader and how to hold people accountable. So we're kind of teaching them how to be leaders and how to be accountable and things like that. So that's a good program that we do. We also one of my favorite things is we do goals before games.
Each
Um,
game, do you do
we,
that
we
before each game, or do they have
each,
goals that
each
they
game,
carry
yep. So
throughout? Oh, okay, okay,
yep. So we
all
do
right,
goals. We have like our main goals throughout
okay,
the year, right? Like
okay,
our expectations and standards.
yes.
But then we have our game goals. So our
Ah,
game goals are not like the physical part.
okay.
Like it's like um, you know, make sure our energy level is like even throughout the game. It's not a high
Mm,
and low.
okay.
Some other examples would be like making sure everyone is doing their role. So if we have someone charting pitches or someone charting like the catchers from the other team and things like that, that everyone's doing their role.
Okay.
Um, and then like one of our big ones is just loving on each other throughout the game. Like the games are up and down all the time,
Oh, yes, they sure
right?
are.
So um, like communication's a big goal. And
Can
then
you
at
can
the
you
end of the
talk?
day, at the end of the games, we come together at our post game talks and we kind of go over if we reached our goals or not. And no matter what the winning
Okay.
score, like if whoever won, right? Like the game at that point doesn't matter. The game's over. So then we look at our goals, and then if we hit our goals, did we win our day, right? Like
Right,
um,
right, right.
win or lose,
Yes,
if we hit our goals, we won our day.
that's right. Can you talk a little
Because
bit more about the
you're always
community?
going to win and lose. Like someone's going to be a lose, like
That
someone's going to
is
lose, someone will win, right?
That
So
is how the sports work. Can you talk a little bit more about the communication aspect of building that in as part of your goals? I'm curious about how you sort of take a look at assigning communication as a goal and what that looks like as a collaborative effort for the
yeah.
team.
So there's a bunch of different things that we do for communication.
Okay.
Like Um, just like during gameplay is just talking to the players like, hey, what are you seeing? Like what are you seeing with the other pitcher? Like what's their pattern right now? Things
Hmm.
like that. We have someone in our dugout that has the role of picking patterns of the pitcher.
Oh, okay.
And then they communicate with our hitters like this is what I'm seeing. Like
Okay.
are they throwing drops outside like the scouting report said, or are they did they change it? Are they going inside
Mm,
now? Like,
right.
so we have that kind of communication. And then there's the other communication part where, um, if one of our players makes an error or makes a mistake,
Right.
and is coming in the dugout, we have a person there that's like, hey, you're okay. Like, you're a good player. Like you're supposed to be out there, so it's another just another person that's positive because
How do you
how in
find
sports like go ahead, Kathy, sorry.
how do you find that you are going to knowingly assign the right person to that role? Because that's not an easy role to play. You and I have worked together before. We know that there are certain characteristics of strengths, say, for example, with the Gallup Strengths Finder, where
Yep.
if you were to pick somebody that had communication, that would be a no brainer. But if you don't know what someone's natural strengths are and their abilities, you obviously have had to notice what capabilities people have. But would you put even a freshman into a role of being that communication person based
Yeah,
on
so
seeing that they're a strong communicator just naturally?
sure, like in the
Okay,
fall, and we kind of do like we do our tests and stuff like that, and we know what everyone's personality is, and kind of
great.
and we have a big reveal meeting, kind of
I
like
love it.
where we're at
You
and
know, I like that.
who's in what group, and like what you can say to this group, but you really shouldn't say it to this group.
Uh-huh. That's
you know
right. That's right. Oh, perfect. I love
so
that.
we have a pretty good understanding, like right away in the fall. And then during our fall games is when we kind of start assigning, um, based off of that stuff, like kind of assigning different things. Like, and some people, like the communication of girls coming off the field or kind of being positive. Like
Sure.
some of them are just we don't have to assign that. Like there are girls on the team that just do it,
Okay.
right? They're just that type of player, that type of person.
It just comes naturally
That
to them.
yeah,
That makes
yeah,
perfect sense. One of the things that I really like that you were talking about was the reflection aspect model, if you will, of thinking after the game. You're not just focused on the fact that you won or you lost. You're breaking down, how did we do today? Did we win based on our goals that we had set up prior to going out
yep,
there and playing this game? That is just a really incredible approach. I really like that. I'm hoping that maybe some people can benefit from
sure,
taking on that particular model, if you will. And then, like, I want you to answer, also think about, like, what did I commit to? And did I live it today? It's small, but it builds that self check in. I think, how do you orient the players, the student athletes, to adopt that kind of modeling, if you will, so that becomes a
yeah,
natural way of how they interact with one another in terms of that
sure.
accountability?
And yeah, and it takes a little bit to buy in,
Sure,
right? Like you
sure,
you have to go through the fall, and you're going to have some ups and downs, but
right.
it takes a little bit to buy in. And it's sometimes players don't.
Sometimes they
Um,
don't. No, no.
and it happens, right? Like that's part of it. And they don't usually last long. Like I mean, example last year, one of our players, a freshman, came in and it just was not quite um, holding her standards and wasn't really buying into what we needed her to do, and it started to kind of affect her teammates, and she eventually just kind of worked herself out.
Mm,
Um, and it was a mutual, like it wasn't like we just kicked her off the team.
right,
Um,
right,
because
right.
again, like we want to make sure these girls are succeeding in life first. Like softball's different. Like softball's the bonus, right? Like
Yes,
life is number one.
that's right. That's right.
And so she just kind of chose like, this is not working for me. I'm not gonna buy into this, and we parted ways.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which is it's tough. Like then you kind of feel as a coach, you feel like you failed a little bit, right?
Of course, you can't.
Because you lost one.
You do, yeah.
So
You can't just shrug that off, and it's just it's. Some people don't appreciate how difficult that is on the coaches as well, and the people involved with the
yeah,
teams. It feels almost like a death. It feels like
yeah,
you have to go through this mourning process. You also have to quickly pick yourself back up because you've got the rest of the team to carry through
right.
and on
Yeah, you
with.
have 26 other girls that are counting on
Right.
you to be
Ex-
ready for them.
exactly. So you have to
Um,
quicken, unfortunately, that bereavement process, but it is really such a thing. One of the key points that I wanted to kind of underline and stress that you talked about a little bit here also was celebrating accountability, if you will, and which
yeah,
normalizes it. Let's just go there. And I think it turns it from a consequence into a culture, which we've been
yeah,
talking a little bit about because we know that developing that culture, like you were saying, it takes time. It doesn't happen day one at the end of
right.
the first practice where you say, okay, we've got our culture are all locked down and we're all set to go. Everybody's accountable. Everybody knows exactly
Yeah,
how to behave and we're in good form and look out competition because we're all
yeah,
that. It doesn't work that way. We know that in
no,
reality
no.
whatsoever. If you had to summarize what your accountability philosophy looks like in one sentence, could you do that?
Oh man,
I know that's a tough one.
that's tough.
I
I
know,
I
I
I
know.
mean, just like I said before, we the girls are involved with everything.
Yes,
So I think the biggest thing is the ownership part. Like they take ownership of everything because they've were a part of
yes.
it. So um like the connection there is when girls mess up. This is way more than one sentence, Kathy, sorry. When
That's
the
okay.
when the
I didn't
girls like
expect you to be able to pull that off exactly
yeah.
in one take. It's a little bit unfair. I just, it was an enormous challenge, but it's great to have all that additional context sort of built into what you're explaining here
Yeah.
in terms of your
But
philosophy,
I
because
don't I
it
do
isn't
think
that
it comes
simple.
down to ownership. Like
Ownership, okay.
because the girls, we go over our expectations. They kind of say what our consequence is going to be and how it is. So they kind of connect each other with that too, where we want to get to a place where the girls are holding themselves accountable,
Sure.
right? And holding each other
Yes.
accountable.
Yes.
And then
Ideally.
if it gets to us, that means something went wrong
That's
big
right.
time. Like, you know,
Exactly. Exactly.
but um but yeah, it's not I don't think it's a negative spin on anything anymore. Like it's more of like, I messed up. I have to do what I need to do to get the trust back. This is how I'm going to do it, and then it's kind of over,
Then it's over.
So
Yeah. That's fantastic. I love this. And mine would be accountability is a language of belief. It
yeah,
says, I believe you're capable of meeting the standard. And a lot of coaches I've talked to in the past use the word standard. We have our standards so that everybody knows is on the same page in terms of what's acceptable and when you've gone over the line and what those, I don't like to use the word consequences, but what will occur because of
yep,
not following the standards. Everybody's on board, no one's surprised. And I just think it makes it a lot easier to develop your culture when you have that mindset of everybody is appreciating perhaps that they have their own standards, but there are team standards, and that it's really crystal clear and not ambiguous to anybody in terms of if I do something that's outside of that, that something will occur, probably not along the lines of something that I'm going to appreciate enjoying and being involved with, but it's what I signed up for, and everybody else is expecting me to hold the line and to be
yeah,
accountable for not only myself, but as a team member of theirs. And as you were talking about earlier, that includes the coaches as well. It's the
Oh, for
coaches are
sure.
not absent from that.
Yep.
And let's we're going to go a little bit off script here because I want to give people an opportunity to have some insights into what it's kind of like in the day in the life of a Division I coach and to what it's like being on a Division I team. Independent of what the sport is, it might be a little bit different based on sport to sport, but just let's talk a little bit for the listeners in terms of having them maybe gain a new appreciation for looking at what it means to actually be able to get onto a Division I team, and then when you're on that team, what does that look like? Because I don't think most people have an appreciation for what the student athletes at the Division I level are going through on a regular basis. So we're going to kind of just go back and forth on this a little
Okay.
bit because we both have different insights in terms of what that looks like. So we're just going to kind of have a nice casual conversation here
Sure.
to discuss this. But give me, from your perspective, what does that look like day in the life for someone, day one, freshman? Like, what did it take for them to get to that point to come onto your team? And then
Yeah.
when they're there, what does that look like?
Talent helps.
Talent helps, for sure, right?
That's what you get caught up in first.
Yes.
Um, and then, when you're recruiting, obviously talent is first, right? Like you look at a player and you're like, wow, they could play at our level.
Yes.
Um, so then you have to take a deeper dive because we are a huge culture. Like we make sure we want to make sure that they come in and fit the culture and fit what we're trying to do here, right? So
Yes.
we do a little deeper dive where we start talking to like their travel ball coaches, their high school coaches. We've gone even far where we talk to the counselors at the school.
Mm,
Um, I always think it's funny when you talk to the counselors if they don't know who they are.
right.
I take that as a positive because then that means they're not in trouble.
They're not in trouble. Right, exactly.
Typically,
That's
right?
right.
Like,
That's right. That's right. Never
um,
heard of this person.
yeah, I don't never really. She's never really come in here, so I'm
Right, they're
like,
not on the
okay,
radar.
that's probably a good thing.
That's right.
Um, Academics is a big thing too, because then we can kind of tell like what kind of work ethic you have,
That's right.
right, with your
That's right.
academics.
That's right.
Um, so, things like that. And when they get on campus, then, when we make the decision, like, yeah, I think this is a good fit.
Yes.
Um, then when they get on campus, then that's when the real fun begins because some of them have never been away from home, right?
Right. That's
And
huge. That's exactly right. And not
so,
something that they were necessarily prepared for.
right. And we always tell the girls, it's kind of funny. We always tell the girls, like, we can tell you exactly what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can give you a rundown of everything that you're going to go through,
Yes.
but you really don't understand it until you actually go through it, right? So, and
Yes.
then like our sophomores have
Well
been really
said.
good with the freshmen, but it's
Mm-hmm.
still the
Mm-hmm.
same, like where the freshmen are still like, oh my gosh, and we're like, yeah, remember we talked about that, but we just you're going to go through it, it's going to happen. Um, But I think the biggest, especially as freshmen, when we start going, um, like our 20-hour weeks start, and there's a lot of stuff, right? Like it's softball, school, weight training, conditioning, you know, our mental health meetings, like our team building stuff. So it is busy.
Very busy.
Uh,
It's like a part-time job built into going to
it
school
is
full-time. But
for sure.
it's not a few hours a day. It can be more
Yeah.
than that. And I know that you have rules and regulations as well
Yep.
to protect the student athletes in terms of how many hours they can dedicate to the
For sure.
sport itself. But it's still a lot. 20
It's
hours
a
is
lot.
no small
It is
amount
a
of
lot.
time during the course of the
And
week when you've got the academics portion to contend with as well.
Yep.
And by the way, you're traveling. You're not just playing in the back of the university, and
Yeah.
you're having to get
And
on
it's six
planes and
days a week.
trains and
Like we go 6 days a week, right? In those
6
20
days a
hours.
week. Exactly.
So you have one day off, really.
Yes.
Sunday was usually our day off.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the academic part, like the study hall, like you have so many hours of study hall you need to go to. Like there's really no free time. So
No.
what we see now though, like when we start our 8 hour weeks, because now that you're they're starting to get a little more freedom and a little more time,
Okay.
that's when it really hits like, wow, I'm homesick.
They're
Like
not as busy.
um
Time to think.
we're yeah, because it kind of slows down,
Mm-hmm.
everything kind of calms down, like even classes are calming down because finals are coming up,
That's right.
and so they have a little more free time to start thinking about like, man, I really miss my mom and dad.
I
Like
do.
so
Mm.
that's where we have to be more um like we're at the school a lot as coaches. Like if we're not practicing, like we're in the office because you know s- even some of the sophomores still are, they come in and they're homesick,
Right. They need to
so
talk to
we
you.
we want to make sure that we're there so they're able to get whatever they need to get out, and we try to make them feel good again. And um, our girls have been really awesome too. Like they're such a good group. Like the older ones make sure the freshmen sophomores are doing well. um, they take them different places and make sure they have groceries, and um, like 45 minutes away, there's a couple California girls that love In-N-Out Burger, right? So
Who doesn't love
they're,
In-N-Out Burger? Sure,
yeah,
that's
right.
great.
So the
Wow.
girls will take them over to In-N-Out every
Oh,
once
how
in a while, kind of like
nice.
a home, like
Like your big
kind of
sister would
reminder
do
of
that.
home,
Right,
So
exactly.
stuff like that. So it's kind of
That makes a difference.
you
That
just
makes
have
a
to make
difference.
sure you were more vigilant on what these guys are going through, especially this time of year.
Right.
You
And
know,
and let's face it, they probably didn't come to you with having the ability to balance out all of the things that you're now asking them to do, particularly as freshmen. And that
yeah,
freshman year is so critical to be able to get through. It's really kind of almost like a sink or swim situation, and you do
yeah,
need that incredible support from the team that you're going to
for
play
sure.
with and to compete with. And I want to just throw out kind of a caution flag to make people be aware of the fact that it's so critical to equally understand and appreciate how you're interviewing and thinking about this culture that you're going to be
Yeah,
involved with for a long period of time. 4 years is a long period of time. And to ask the right questions. What kind of questions would you ask if you were a parent and you had a daughter that was thinking about joining a softball program such as
sure.
yours? What would be the smart questions to ask so that you're well prepared
I
to know
think
that it's the right
I think
team?
the biggest thing to me is with the transfer portal and all that stuff. That's the
Right.
first thing I look at. How many kids are transferring out of this program,
Good one.
right? Like
Mm-hmm.
how much turnover have they had in the last couple
Yes.
years?
Yes.
Um, because if there's a lot of transfers moving out of there, there's something's just not right, So
Mm-hmm.
that would be kind of my first thing.
That's a great one.
And then as a player, I would try to get a hold of, and they have so many different platforms to get a hold of players now,
Okay.
like Instagram and whatever. I mean, I'm old, so I do Facebook, I guess. But you can, like a lot of girls talk to incoming freshmen, like they are like, hey, what do you think? How's the program? Like, what do you like best about it? Things like that. So they kind of talk to some of our current players,
That makes
um,
sense.
just before they make a decision. Like we just had five girls sign for next year,
Excellent.
and I know they
Congratulations.
all reached out to current players and
Mm,
were asking questions, and
right.
making sure this would be the right fit for them. Because it goes both
Smart.
ways.
It
Like we
absolutely
have
goes
to make
both
sure it's the
ways.
right fit for us,
That's right.
and they have to make sure it's the right fit for them.
Exactly.
Um, so,
Exactly. I love
mhm.
that. And are there any other sort of red flags that people should be aware of when they're lucky enough to be recruited, to understand that besides the sort of concerns and the questions and the insights that you've given them right now, that they should be, besides looking at, oh my gosh, there's a tremendous amount of people going to the transfer portal, are there any other sort of red flags that may not be as obvious as that information being available to somebody?
I, a big thing is like the academic piece too. Um, Especially if you're looking at a school, to make sure it's the right fit for academics.
Good
You know,
point.
like
Yes,
that. I mean, you get to play softball for 4 years, but you're going to school for the rest of your life, right? Like
that's
you're
right.
you're preparing yourself for life.
That's right. That's right.
So softball's great, and it's a bonus. Like a lot of kids use softballs, they get, half their school paid for,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a good bonus. But for sure, you have to look at the academic part. Like, is this the right fit to, so I can be successful in life, right? Like that's,
Exactly. Can
I
I
need a
toss
good job. Like,
can I toss something
so,
out just in terms of maybe this is something that you've been asked or not? I don't know, but this is something that I would think about is asking the coaches what their communication styles happen to be like.
oh,
Right?
for
And is
sure,
there a
for
match
sure.
there? I mean, you may
Yeah,
be able to tell that just based on some initial conversation with people, but when things get heated, when things get really serious, how does this coach react? What is their communication
yeah,
style? What is their method for how they just act? Are they smooth? Are they even keeled as a person under
yeah,
stress? Or are they a crazy person? And that may or may not
yeah,
have a positive or negative impact on you
for
coming
sure.
onto their team, right?
I think too, like if you watch games, like you watch the
Ah,
games and
yes.
see the coaches' reactions to different things, and
Ah, yes.
how they go about their business on post game stuff.
Ah, yes.
Kind of listening into that, and um, or even just like when kids come to camps, like I always told girls, like, if you really want to know like how your coaches are,
Mm-hmm.
watch the current players at camps, because we
Yes.
always have current players there,
Yes.
and how do they interact with the coaches during the camp,
I love that. Yes.
right? So you
Perfect.
can kind of tell, like, are they nervous around them? Are they you know trying too hard, like not to make a mistake, or are they just having fun and are relaxed and enjoying themselves, right? Like you can
Exactly.
tell a lot by a camp.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's really good advice. I love that. And one thing I'm going to toss out before we sort of close out here is for people to be aware of how their actions and body language is also coming across. That's critical to sort of be aware of for themselves. What is their self-awareness level? Because that may
yeah.
cost them a scholarship somewhere just because
Oh,
of
for sure.
them not keeping themselves in check. But I can't believe we wound down a second segment to this topic. See, I knew that we could go long on this topic, and it's such a beautiful topic, this topic of accountability, the foundation of a championship mindset. And so thank you, Dave, so much for being here with me and spending
Oh,
this
for sure.
time involving our
Thank you. It's
audience
been
and
awesome.
educating them about all these fantastic just ideas that we have to like lay into supporting this concept. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate you being here. I'm signing out, and come back. We have lots of other Murf Unfiltered shows for you to enjoy. Take care now. Thank you.